Ready? Then let's start. As usual, we start from revision.
Okay.
So, what does the word thorough mean? What does the word thorough mean? The word thorough.
The word thoroughly means complete.
In which season of the year do people generally give their houses a thorough cleaning? In which season of the year do people generally give their houses a thorough cleaning? People generally.
People generally give their house a thorough cleaning before Easter and New Year.
Okay. If you jumped into the sea, would you get thoroughly wet? If you jumped into the sea, would you get thoroughly wet? Yes. If I
Yes, if I jumped into the sea, I'd get thoroughly wet.
What kind of things make you thoroughly tired? What kind of things make you thoroughly tired? The kind of
The kind of things that make
thoroughly
me
tired.
like not tired are
Oh.
physical work and study at university.
Okay. Um, if you draw a car on the left-hand side of the road instead of on the right, what would happen? If you draw a car on the left-hand side of the road instead of on the right, what would happen? If I draw
If I draw a car on the left-hand
and
side of the road instead of a right, uh, I'd have
an
an accident.
accident. Have you ever seen an accident on the road? Have you ever seen an accident on the road? Yes, no?
Yes, I have seen an accident of the road.
If you took something by accident that didn't belong to you, what would you do? If you took something by accident that didn't belong to you, what would you do? If I took
If I took something that didn't belong to me by accident, I'd return it.
Mhm. Do people become careless when they're in great danger? Do people become careless when they're in great danger? No, people
No, people don't
don't
become
become
careless
careless.
when they are in great danger. We become careful.
Do you write carefully? Do you write carefully? Yes, no.
Yes, I write carefully.
What could happen if you were careless when crossing the road? What could happen if you were careless when crossing the road? If I were
If I were careless
careless when
when
crossing.
crossing the road, I'd have an accident.
Hmm? Of all the people you know, who dresses the most carelessly? Of all the people you know, who dresses the most carelessly? Of all?
Of all the people I know, my friend
Dresses
dresses
the
more
most
carelessly.
carelessly. Do you own all the clothes you are wearing, or do any of them belong to somebody else? Do you own all the clothes you are wearing, or do any of them belong to somebody else? I own
I own
all
all the clothes I'm
I'm
wearing.
wearing. What would you like to own more than anything else? What would you like to own more than anything else? I'd like.
I'd like to own a
Mhm.
house in Norway more than anything
Anything else.
else.
Mhm. Who owns the place where you live? Who owns the place where you live?
My parents
Mhm. Owns
own the
the
place where
place
I
where
live.
you live. Do people in your country usually carry on working after they reach the age of 65? Do people in your country usually carry on working after they reach the age of 65? Yes, no?
Yes, people in my
Yes.
country usually carry on working
After
after they
they
reach the age of
reach
65.
65. Sorry. Have you ever won prize for anything? Have you ever won prize for anything? Yes, no,
No, I have never won prize for anything.
for anything. Give me a sentence with the word two meaning also. Give me a sentence with the word two meaning also.
She has this cute t-shirt and I want one too.
Mm-hmm. Give me a sentence with the words at least in it, please. Give me a sentence with the words at least in it.
He didn't do very well in exams,
Yeah,
but
but
at least
it
he
passed.
passed.
Mm-hmm. Which is one of the most widely used English adjectives? Which is one of the most widely used English adjectives? One of
One of the most widely used English adjectives, okay, yeah, good, etc.
Is English the most widely spoken language in the world? Is English the most widely spoken language in the world? Yes, English
Yes, one of the most widely
spoken
spoken
language
English language in the world
in the world is
is English.
yes. Um, why are good manners so important in life? Why are good manners so important in life? Good manners
Good manners are so important in our
are
life. lives because they make lives more easier and polite.
Mhm. Not lives, lives.
Life.
What do you mean when we say that somebody has the manners of a pig? What do we mean when we say that somebody has the manners of a pig? When we say
When we say that
somebody
somebody has the manners
of
of a pig, we mean that he has very bad manners.
Mhm. Do people in very hot countries dress in the same manner as people in very cold countries? Do people in very hot countries dress in the same manner as people in very cold countries? No, people
No, people
very
in very hot
hot
countries
countries don't,
didn't
not
dress
didn't don't
don't don't dress
dress in
the
the
same
same
manners
manner
as the people
as
in
people in
very
very cold
cold
countries.
countries.
Will you still be asleep at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning? Will you still be asleep at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning? Yes, no?
No, I
I
won't
won't still
still
be
be
asleep
asleep at
at 11.
11 o'clock tomorrow.
Will you still be awake at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning? Will you still be awake at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning? Yes, no?
Uh, no,
No, I
I
will
yes,
still
I
be
won't still be
awake
awake at
3 o'clock,
11
not
uh,
11, at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yes, who takes care of us when we are in hospital? Who takes care of us when we are in hospital? Nurses and
Nurses and doctors take care of us when we are in hospital.
next, please answer the following questions within order to, okay?
Okay.
So, why do people eat? Why do people eat? People eat.
People eat in order to live.
For what purpose do people work? For what purpose do people work? People,
People work in order to earn money.
what must we do in order to keep in good health? What must we do in order to keep in good health? In order to
In order to keep in good health,
health,
we must do sleep well, do exercise, and etc.
okay. Eat healthy food, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think is the purpose of living? What do you think is the purpose of living? I think,
I think the purpose of living is to be happy and make others happy. Happy.
well, well done, great job. I'm sorry for my cough. And give me an example, please, of so that, please. Give me an example, please, of so that, please. Він поставив їжу в холодильник так, щоб вона сталася свіжа або щоб не пропала. Translate.
He puts food in the fridge so that it would still fresh.
Stay, not still.
Stay. Stay.
Okay, well done. Are there any notices hanging up in the school? Are there any notices hanging up in the school? Yes, no?
No, there are not any notices
Hanging
hanging
up
up in
in
the
the
school.
school. Okay. What are the three forms of lie? What are the three forms of lie? The three forms?
The three forms of lie are lie, lane,
Lane.
lane.
Lane. What's the longest you've ever lain in bed for when you've been ill? What's the longest you've ever been lain? Sorry. What's the longest you've ever lain in bed for when you've been ill? So the longest I've ever
The longest I
I've
ever
ever
lain
lain
in
in bed
bed for when
for
I have
being
been ill,
ill is about.
about 2 days.
Mhm. What's the difference between to point at and to point out? What's the difference between to point at and to point out? The difference?
The difference between 2 point at
At
and 2 point
point
out
out,
is that
we
we use to point
point
at
at
of pointing the finger at
an
an object,
object. Mhm.
whereas
To
uh,
point
to
out
point out means to indicate something
on
among different
different
things.
things. Mhm. Um, what am I doing?
You are pointing at a picture.
Oh, on the wall. Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and please point out the mistake in this sentence, please. I've gone to the cinema this week. Point out the mistake in this sentence, please. I've gone to the cinema this week. We can't say
We can say, yeah, I have gone to the cinema
this
this
week.
week.
We
It's
must
try to
say,
say I have been in the cinema this week.
well done. Okay, so what are you doing? I'm pointing out.
I'm pointing out the mistakes in this sentence.
Yes, well done. In your country, do people visit their relatives' graves? In your country, do people visit their relatives' graves? Yes, in my.
Yes, in my country, people visit relatives' graves.
Is it bad for your neck to sleep without pillow? Is it bad for your neck to sleep without pillow? Yes, no.
No,
No,
it isn't bad for
bad
my
for
neck
my
to
neck
sleep
to sleep
without
without.
pillow.
Mhm. Can we have fire without flames? Can we have fire without flames? Yes, we can
Yes, we can have
have
fire
fire
without
without
flames.
flames. How long is the flight from Kyiv to Egypt? How long is the flight from Kyiv to Egypt? The flight from
The flight from Kiev to Egypt is about 2 hours,
let it be
3 hours.
tricky. 2 or maybe 3 hours. Good. Um, hmm. What the what do the words may and might express? What do the words may and might express? The words
The words
may.
my and may express the idea of perhaps.
Well done. And what's the difference between may and might? What's the difference between may and might? The difference between
The difference between may and might
may
is that we cannot use may in the
and
second
may.
conditional.
Well done. Could you give me an example, please? Could you give me an example, please?
If I went to Kharkiv, I might visit my university.
Okay, good. Do you think it may rain later? Do you think it may rain later? Yes, no?
No, I don't think it will rain
Rain.
later.
Okay. What do you think I might have in my pocket? What do you think I might have in my pocket? I think.
I think you might have a phone in your pocket.
Mhm. What might happen if you didn't look both ways before crossing the road? What might happen if you didn't look both ways before crossing the road? An accident might.
An accident might happen if I didn't look both ways before
Before
crossing the
crossing
road.
the road. What might you see if you went to Kharkiv? What might you see if you went to Kharkiv? I might see.
I might see the center city, my university, etc., different place if I went to Kharkiv.
Okay. Do you think there might be another world war? Do you think there might be another world war? Yes, no?
Yes, might.
I think
Uh,
there might be.
I think there might be another world war.
Mhm. What's the difference between arrive at and arrive in? What's the difference between arrive at and arrive in? The difference between
The difference between arrive at and arrive in is that we arrive at a point, whereas we
arrive.
arrive in an area.
What time do you arrive at school? What time do you arrive at school? I arrive at
I arrived at 9 a.m. at school.
um order. I arrive at school at
At
I
uh,
where? At school? At what time? I arrive
I've arrived at
school at
four,
school at
four
school
at school
at
at 9 a.m.
okay, well done. If you arrived at a foreign airport without your passport, what might happen? If you arrived at a foreign airport without your passport, what might happen? If I arrived
If I arrived
arrived
at a foreign airport without
without
my
passport,
passport,
I might
I might not be able
able
to
to enter
enter the
the
country.
country. What is a cafe? What is a cafe? A cafe is
A cafe is a small informal
restaurant
restaurant where we get different meals,
like
drinks,
snack
etc.
and drinks.
Snacks.
Okay. Do you owe me any money? Do you owe me any money? No, I don't.
No, I don't owe you any money.
Do I owe you any money? Do I owe you any money? No, you don't.
No, you don't owe me any
Any
money.
money. What does it mean to give back? What does it mean to give back? To give back?
To give back means to return.
Return. When you go on holiday, what do you bring back with you? When you go on holiday, what do you bring back with you? When I go
When I go on
on
holiday,
holiday,
I bring
bring
back
back
some
souvenirs.
souvenirs
Yes.
with me.
Are you going to go back home immediately after the lessons ended? Are you going to go back home immediately after the lessons ended? Yes, no?
Yes, I'm going to go home
Okay.
immediately
After the lessons
after
ended.
the lessons ended.
When people lend you money, do you always pay it back when promised? When people lend you money, do you always pay it back when promised? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes.
when people lend me money, I always
Always
pay
pay it back
back it back when
when.
I promise.
Mhm. Do you know anybody who has retired but then later gone back to work? Do you know anybody who has retired but then later gone back to work? Yes, no?
Yes, I know somebody
Anybody
who has retired,
retired
but
but
then
then
um,
later gone back to work?
later gone back to work.
What is a normal breakfast? What is a normal breakfast? My normal.
My normal breakfast is a scramble with tea.
Mhm. Do people normally feel proud when they do well in exams? Do people normally feel proud when they do well in exams? Yes, people
Yes, people normally feel proud when they
do well
do well exams
in exams.
in exams.
Do you take pride in your studies? Do you take pride in your studies? Yes, no?
Yes, I take pride in my studies.
Studies. Mhm. If you were very rich, would you have servants in your house? If you were very rich, would you have servants in your house? Yes, no? Mm.
Yes, if I were very rich,
I'd have
uh, I'd have a servant
servants.
in my house.
Mhm. Does a lorry have fewer wheels than a car? Does a lorry have fewer wheels than a car? No, a lorry doesn't.
No, a lorry doesn't have
Fewer,
fewer
fewer,
fewer
not
fewer
wheels
hills
than a car.
than a car.
It has more,
It has more hills than a car.
not hills, wheels.
Wheels.
Mhm. About how long is an arrow? About how long is an arrow? An arrow?
An arrow is
Arrow
about
about meter
meter.
long. How many centimeters make a meter? How many centimeters make a meter? 100
100 centimeters
centimeters.
make a meter.
Do you know anybody who has long beard? Do you know anybody who has long beard? Yes, no?
Yes, I know somebody who
Somebody
has
has
long
long.
beard.
By the way, do you like long beard?
Mm, maybe no.
Okay, me too, but my husband has long beard. Oh. So, if I'm not mistaken, we stopped here last time, yeah?
Yeah.
So now let's write new dictation, okay?
Okay.
Please take a sheet of paper and a pen, and we will start.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Of
Yes, I read them.
Can you hear me well? Of
Yes.
course, I hear that my voice sounds very rough, but let it be. So, ready?
Yes.
They keep lots of their books. They keep lots of their books
Mm-hmm.
under the bed. Under the bed. Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
She's pouring the fruit juice. She's pouring the fruit juice
Mm-hmm.
from a bottle into a glass. Full stop. From a bottle into a glass. Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
His grave, his grave
Mm-hmm.
was covered with sand, comma, was covered with sand, comma,
Mm-hmm.
and, comma, in the sand, comma, and, comma, in the sand, comma,
Mm-hmm.
somebody had printed his name, full stop. Somebody had printed his name, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
From the neck of the bottle, from the neck of the bottle,
Mm-hmm.
Came a flame, came a flame,
Mm-hmm.
which gave light to the room, full stop, which gave light to the room, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Fish and chips, fish and chips
Mm-hmm.
is a common meal in England, full stop, is a common meal in England, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
If we push a door, if we push a door, which has the word pull, which has the word pull, written
Mm-hmm.
on it, comma, written on it, comma,
Mm-hmm.
it won't open, full stop. Not won't, it won't open, full stop.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The last sentence, very small and short. He's got, has, he's got a hole in his sock. Such a pity. He's got a hole in his sock, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last sentence. So check your dictation, please, for the next time.
Okay.
Now we continue our lesson with reading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn on the demonstration and we'll start reading. You remember that we don't read words and rules, just question and answer.
Okay.
So let's start.
What's the difference between for and since? The difference between for and since is that we use the word for when we say a period of time, whereas we use the word since when we say the point at which the period began. Um, Now give me the sentence, the examples of since. Since 6 o'clock, since last June. How long have you been in this room? I have been in this room for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Since when has she been in this room? She's been in this room since 5 minutes. How long have you
Since
lived in this
5 o'clock.
in five? Ah, okay, in five
Mhm.
o'clock.
Since at which the period began and for we use for how long was this period, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a period of time and since when this period began. Since 6 o'clock, since last Monday, since January. But for example, I've been in this room for about for 44 minutes. It means that I've been in this room since 4 o'clock. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you lived in this town for? I have lived in this town for 90 years. Since when she lived in this town? She's lived in this town since 20 years. About how long have you known me for? I have known you for about 4 months since when she known me. She known she's known you since autumn.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been able speak English for more than 10 years? No, I haven't been able to speak English for more than 10 years. Have you been able to speak English since you were a young child? No, I haven't been able to speak English since I was a child. What kind of things does a kitchen usually contain? A kitchen usually contains a fridge, freezer, a cooker, a sink, etc. What does meat last longer in fridge or freezer? Meat lasts longer in freezer. Why do some people like using microwaves? Some people like using microwaves because they cook food very quickly. Did you find English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of your studies? Yes, I found English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of my studies. Do you hope your English studies will help your future career? Yes, I hope my English studies will help my future career. Would you lend me some money if I asked you? Yes, I'd lend you some money if you asked me. If you lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, what do you do? If I lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, I'd ask to return it. What's your first name? My first name is Daria. What's your surname? My surname's Ponomarenko. Would you like to be famous? No, I wouldn't like to be famous. What's a film star? A film star is a famous actor or actress in the cinema world. Tell me the names of some famous film stars, please. Johnny Depp, Penelope Cruz, etc. Name a few famous people in history. A few famous people in history are Taras Shevchenko, uh, Sergei Жадан, etc. What's
Shakespeare,
the most,
Einstein, Michelangelo, etc. Okay.
yeah, of course. What's the famous industrial city in your country? Dnipro is the most industrial city in my country. What's the most agricultural region of your country? Kherson is the most agricultural region of my country. What do we say when we apologize for doing something wrong? When we apologize for doing something wrong, we say, I'm sorry. If you keep somebody waiting for a long time, should you apologize? Yes, if I keep somebody waiting for a long time, you should apologize. What's a noun of the verb apologize? A noun is a verb apologize, is apology. How can we help to avoid becoming ill? We can help to avoid becoming ill by living a healthy life. Do you have a bend down if you want to touch your feet? No, I don't have to bend down if I want to touch my feet, but it would be the easiest way. Which do you think was the best century in history to live in? I think the 21st century is the best century in history to live in.
Mhm.
Do you like the fashion of clothes at the most? Yes,
At the
I
moment,
like
at the moment.
at the moment. Yes, I like the fashion in clothes at the moment. Does this school have a grade outside it? Yes, this school has a grade outside
Not
it.
not great. Gate. Gate.
Gate, yes,
Mm-hmm.
gate.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Do some people worry too much? Yes, some people worry too much. Are you worried about your future? Yes, I'm worried about my future. Why should you not worry if you don't immediately understand some of the grammar in this book? I shouldn't worry if I don't immediately understand some of the grammar in this book because I will practice it again in other lessons and I can study it at home. When we are in in a hurry, what must we do? When we are in hurry, we must run. What's the farthest you have
Fur-
ever run?
Furthest.
Furthest. The furthest I have ever run is 10 meters.
Mhm. Meters?
Yes.
10 meters. Okay, let it be. So, thank you for your reading. Now we continue our lesson with new words. Ready?
Yes, right.
Let me find out the page. Mhm. So, repeat after me, please. True, true,
True.
false, false.
False.
Paper, newspaper, paper, newspaper.
Paper, newspaper.
True, false is the same as right and wrong.
Mhm.
And paper, newspaper, we can call it just paper. Like the Times is one of the most popular newspapers in Great Britain. For example, it isn't false that the opposite of heaven is hell. It's true. And not everything we read in the newspapers true. Some things are true and some things are false. Yeah?
Mhm. Mhm.
And why this is so? I think it's maybe because newspapers haven't don't always have time to make sure that what they write is completely true. Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, is it false that the opposite of heaven is hell? Is it false that the opposite of heaven is hell? No, it isn't.
No, it isn't false that the opposite of
Heaven
heaven
is
is hell.
it's
It's true.
is everything we read in the newspapers true? Is everything we read in the newspapers true? No, not
No, not everything
everything.
that we read in newspapers is true.
Some things are.
Some things are true and some things are false.
Why do you this is so? Why do you think this is so? I think
I think that newspapers haven't enough time
to make sure
to make sure
what they
that
write is true.
reading is true.
Yes, good. Repeat after me, please. Maintain, maintain.
Maintain.
Maintain means like to keep. Like to keep in good condition. For example, it isn't cheap to maintain a large house. It's
Mhm.
the opposite. It's very expensive. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, is it cheap to maintain a large house? Is it cheap to maintain a large house? No, it isn't.
No, it isn't cheap to maintain
Maintain
a
a large house.
large house. It's expensive.
Yes, good. Repeat after me. It takes
It takes
Ireland, Ireland.
Ireland.
Um, we translate it takes with Maya. For example, it takes me about 10 minutes to go to the shop.
Mm.
Ireland, Irelandia.
Mhm. Okay.
And but don't mix with Ireland and Island, Austria. Mhm.
Mhm.
Different
Okay.
pronunciation. Ireland, Ireland, and Island. Island, Austria, Ireland, Irelandia. Mhm.
Mhm.
For example, it doesn't take longer to fly from here to Ireland than go by train or by ship. On the opposite, it takes less time to
Mhm.
fly from here to Ireland than to go by train or by ship.
Mhm.
And it would take me about 30 minutes to go to reach the station from here if I walked very fast. Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so how do we translate the words it takes? How do we translate the words it takes? We translate
We translate it
the
takes like
Maya.
Zimaya.
So, how long does it take you to go home from the shop? How long does it take you to go home from the shop? It takes me
It takes me
about
about 10 minutes
to go
to go
home from.
from here to shops.
Okay. Does it take longer to fly from here to Ireland than to go by train or by ship? Does it take longer to fly from here to Ireland than to go by train or by ship? No, it doesn't take
No, it doesn't take longer to
flight, not flight
to fly from
here to
here to
Ireland
Poland
than to go by train or by.
than to go by train.
About how long would it take you to reach the station from here if you walked very fast? About how long would it take you to reach the station from here if you walked very fast? It would take me
It would take me 15 minutes
to reach
to reach from
station.
here to the station if I
Um,
walked very fast.
well done, Rachel. Clear here.
Yeah,
Good. Repeat after me. Amount,
amount,
amount to.
amount to.
Um, amount is a noun that means like um, a quantity of something, especially money. And
Mhm,
amount to means equals.
mhm,
Let's go through examples. For example, I've if I asked you, for example, what amount of money have you got in your pocket? And you can say, I've got about $5 in my pocket. And for example, people use a large amount of wood in building houses in this region.
mhm,
And 50 pounds and 13 pounds amount to 63. Like
mhm,
50 plus 13 equals 63. But we can say, well, sorry, раз, два, три. 50 and 13 amount to 63, okay?
mhm. Okay.
So let's continue. So what amount of money have you got in your pocket at the moment? What amount of money have you got in your pocket at the morning? And at the moment, sorry, I've got about.
I got about $5 at my pocket at the moment.
Do people use a large amount of wood in building houses in your region? Do people use a large amount of wood in building houses in your region? Yes, no?
Yes,
People
people
use a large amount of wood
people
building
use a large amount of wood
in building
build
houses
houses
in my
in
region.
the region.
What do 50 pounds and 13 pounds amount to? What do 50 pounds and 13 pounds amount to? 50 pounds and
50 pounds and 30
13.
pounds
Mhm.
amount to 63 pounds.
Well done. Great job. Repeat after me, please. Further, further.
Further,
Sweden, Sweden.
Sweden,
In addition, in addition.
in addition,
Extra, extra.
extra.
So, you know that the word further, like far, further, the furthest. So, the
Mhm,
word further means the same as father, yeah? But it also means in addition or
mhm,
extra.
mhm,
Let's go through examples. Sweden is further from Spain than Switzerland. Sweden is further from Spain than Switzerland.
mhm,
And the furthest I've ever been is from Ukraine to Egypt, for example. And next, I would have to go to the information office if I wanted further information about train times at the station.
mhm,
Further information about trains.
mhm,
And if I failed an exam, I would have to take further lessons. Like I would have to take extra lessons in order for the next time to pass an exam. So if I failed an exam, I would have to take further lessons, like extra lessons.
Okay.
And the previous example, I would have to go to the information office if I wanted further information, like additional information about trains, yeah?
Yeah.
So, what does the word further mean? What does the word further mean? The word further
The word further
means
means
in
in
addition
addition
or
and extra.
yes. Which is the further from Spain, Sweden or Switzerland? Which is the further from Spain, Sweden or Switzerland? Sweden is
Sweden is the furthest.
not the furthest. We make comparative. Sweden is further from
Sweden is
from
further from
Spain
Spain
than
than
Switzerland.
Sweden.
What's the furthest you have ever been? What is the furthest you have ever been? The furthest
The furthest I have ever
been
been
is
uh,
from.
is from Poltava to Lviv.
Mhm. Well done. Where would you have to go if you wanted further information about train times at a station? Where would you have to go if you wanted further information about train times at a station? I would have to
I would have to
go to the
information
office
information office
if I
uh,
wanted,
if I wanted to furthest
not furthest,
inform
further information
further information
about
about
train times at a station.
train times at the station.
Well done. And translate me this sentence. Якщо я провалю іспит, мені придеться взяти додаткові заняття.
If I failed,
Second conditional. If I failed.
if I failed the exam,
Мгм,
I'd
мгм.
um, take
Хорошо. I'd take further.
further lessons.
Clear here?
Yeah,
Okay. So now we continue with new grammar. Repeat
mhm.
after me, please. Past perfect, past perfect.
Past perfect.
I had eaten. I had eaten.
I had eaten.
Uh, let's start from how do you form past perfect? We need had. No matter who does the action, I, he, she, it, you, we, they, we put had and past participle, that is third form of the verb. The past perfect communicates the same idea as the present perfect, except that instead of thinking about time before and up to now, we are thinking about time before and up to a specific point only in the past. For
Mhm.
example, listen to me very attentively. With the present perfect, we say Mary cannot enter her flat because she has lost her key.
Mhm.
Next sentence, we use past perfect. Mary couldn't enter her flat yesterday because she had lost her key.
Mhm.
The action about she has lost her key happened earlier than, than he came home. First,
Mhm.
she had lost her key, and then she came home. And
Mhm.
this action happened yesterday. So Mary couldn't enter her flat yesterday. Why? Because she has she had lost her key.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sorry. So, and one more example. Let's look through these two sentences. I ate my dinner at 9 o'clock. I ate my dinner at 9 o'clock. I'm sorry. And I had eaten my dinner at 9 o'clock. What's the difference? The difference between these two sentences is that I ate my dinner at 9 o'clock means I started to eat my dinner at 9 o'clock. And I had eaten my dinner at 9 o'clock means that the dinner was already finished at 9 o'clock. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay? For
Okay.
example, I had never seen you before I came to this school. And when I began my lessons at this school, I had already studied some English, for example. So when I began my lessons at this school, I had already studied some English. First action was I had studied, yes, and then I came to school. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's speak about present perfect. When do we use the present perfect? When do we use the present perfect? We use the present.
We use the present perfect when
We
they
are thinking
is thinking
about
about
time before and
time
after.
before up to now.
Okay. Give me an example with Mary. Mary cannot enter
Mary cannot enter in this flat
because she has,
because she has lost her key.
well done. And when do we use the past perfect? When do we use the past perfect? We use
We use the past perfect when we are
when we are
thinking
thinking about
about
time,
uh, time up to a specific time
a specific another point in the past.
in the past. Okay.
Okay, give me an example with the same Maria, but in the past. Mary could
Mary could
not
not
enter
uh,
her flat
enter to her flat
yesterday
yesterday
because she,
uh, because she had lost her key.
well done. So, can you tell me the difference between these two sentences? I ate my dinner at 9 o'clock and I had eaten my dinner at 9 o'clock. I ate my dinner at 9 o'clock and I had eaten my dinner at 9 o'clock. The difference between
The difference between these two sentences
sentences
is
is that
that the first means
started to eat
I started eating
at 9 o'clock.
at 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
and the second
Second,
sentence means that
my
I
dinner
think
was already finished at
dinner was already finished at 9 o'clock.
well done. Okay. Have you ever seen me before you came to this school? Have you ever seen me before you came to this school? No,
No,
I
I
had never
had never see
not have had. I had never past perfect.
I had never
Never
see
seen you
seen you
before I came
before I came
to this
to the
school.
school.
When you began your lessons at this school, had you already studied some English or were you a complete beginner? When you began your lessons at this school, had you already studied some English or were you a complete beginner? When I began
When I began
my lessons at this school,
my lessons in this school, I had
I had
uh,
already studied some English.
I had already studied some English before.
Yes, well done. Great job. Thank you.